What if I told you that even the devil trembled at the determination of a teenager armed with nothing more than a computer and an unshakable love for the Eucharist? It may sound like the plot of a movie, but it's the true story of Blessed Carlo Acutis, a modern saint whose life and mission continue to inspire millions today. Carlo was no ordinary teenager. While most of his peers were glued to video games and social media, Carlo spent his time diving deep into the mysteries of the Eucharist. He believed with all his heart that this sacred sacrament wasn't just a symbol, but the real presence of Jesus Christ. And he made it his mission to ensure that everyone, whether young or old, devout or questioning, could encounter the same transformative power he had discovered. But here's where it gets interesting. Carlo wasn't just passionate about his faith. He was a tech whiz. Long before digital evangelization became a buzzword, Carlo was busy designing websites and using his tech skills to catalog Eucharistic miracles from around the world. His dream? To use the internet, a tool often misused for darkness and distraction, to illuminate the beauty of God's work. Yet his journey was anything but smooth. Mysterious setbacks plagued him at every turn. Computers he relied on would suddenly stop working. Data would vanish. Coincidence? Or something deeper? A spiritual battle against forces that didn't want his light to shine? Today, we're diving into this incredible story. We'll explore how the enemy tried to sabotage Carlo's mission, how he persevered through it all, and what his life teaches us about using technology as a force for good in the spiritual life. Blessed Carlo Acutis wasn't born into a family of saints. In fact, his parents weren't even practicing Catholics when he came into the world on May 3, 1991, in Milan, Italy. Yet, from a young age, Carlo showed an extraordinary sensitivity to the presence of God. It was as though the seeds of faith were planted directly in his soul, waiting to bloom. From the moment he first encountered the Eucharist, Carlo was captivated. While most children his age might have seen First Holy Communion as just a tradition, Carlo understood its profound significance. He often said, "The Eucharist is my highway to heaven." It wasn't just a phrase, it was his life's mantra. Carlo's love for Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament was transformative. By the age of 7, he began attending daily Mass, praying the Rosary, and spending hours in Eucharistic adoration. Friends and family noticed something different about him: his joy, his kindness, and the way he treated everyone, from the janitor to his peers, with equal dignity and respect. He became a beacon of light for those around him, gently drawing them closer to God without ever being forceful. But what set Carlo apart was his ability to merge his deep spirituality with his remarkable talent for technology. By his teenage years, he had mastered programming and web design. Yet, instead of using these skills for personal fame or wealth, Carlo used them for God. At the heart of his work was a burning question: why don't more people understand the miracle of the Eucharist? That question led him to embark on an ambitious project, a website cataloging Eucharistic miracles from all over the world. He poured countless hours into researching, designing, and creating an online archive that would serve as a testament to God's presence in the Blessed Sacrament. What's truly amazing is how ahead of his time Carlo was. This was the early 2000s, a period when many adults were still figuring out email, let alone envisioning the internet as a tool for evangelization. Yet here was a young teenager using the digital frontier to bring others closer to Christ. It was as though he could see beyond the screens and servers to the souls on the other side, searching for meaning. Carlo's project quickly gained attention. His website became a resource for parishes, educators, and individuals worldwide. And yet, behind the scenes, Carlo wasn't interested in recognition. His goal was simple: to bring people to Jesus through the Eucharist. But as we'll see in the next part of his story, Carlo's mission wasn't without resistance. Because when someone works so boldly for God, the enemy doesn't stand idly by. And for Carlo, the challenges he faced weren't just technical, they were spiritual. Every great mission for God comes with its trials, and Blessed Carlo Acutis was no exception. His work to spread the truth about the Eucharist wasn't just a technical endeavor, it was a spiritual battle. And like any battle, there were forces at play trying to stop him. As Carlo dedicated himself to his website cataloging Eucharistic miracles, strange things began to happen. Computers that once worked flawlessly would suddenly crash. Files he had painstakingly organized would vanish into thin air. And then came the most chilling incident of all. His computer, the very tool he relied on to bring people closer to Christ, caught fire without explanation. Think about it. How often does a computer spontaneously combust? Sure, technology can fail. Machines break. But these occurrences happened repeatedly and without any logical cause. It was as if something or someone was trying to sabotage Carlo's mission. But Carlo, with his deep faith and unshakable trust in God, refused to give up. Instead of succumbing to frustration or fear, he saw these challenges as part of the spiritual warfare that often accompanies great works of evangelization. He would often remind himself and those around him of a simple truth: the more we trust in God, the more the enemy will try to shake us. In these moments, Carlo turned to his greatest source of strength, the Eucharist. He would spend hours in adoration, seeking guidance and fortification. He knew that his mission wasn't just about spreading knowledge. It was about leading hearts to encounter the living Christ. And nothing, not broken computers, not vanished files, not even the risk of physical danger, could deter him from that goal. Have you ever noticed how, when you're trying to deepen your relationship with God or do something meaningful for His glory, obstacles seem to arise out of nowhere? Carlo understood this better than most. He didn't see these challenges as failures, but as opportunities to persevere in faith. Despite the setbacks, Carlo's project continued to grow. His persistence was a testament to his trust in God's providence. And perhaps, in a way, these challenges only made his mission more impactful. After all, a message that faces resistance is often the one that needs to be heard the most. The devil may have tried to silence Carlo's work, but as we know, darkness never prevails against the light of Christ. Carlo's story reminds us that when we face opposition in our efforts to live out our faith, we are not alone. Like Carlo, we are called to trust in God's power and to keep moving forward. Bless Carlo Acutis was a visionary, not just for his time, but for ours as well. He saw technology not as a distraction, but as a gift, a tool that, when used correctly, could become a powerful means of bringing people closer to God. Carlo was ahead of his time in recognizing the potential of the internet. Long before smartphones and social media became integral to our lives, Carlo understood that the digital world could be a space for evangelization. He once said, "The internet is not inherently good or bad. It's what we make of it." And he chose to make it a place of light. His website cataloging Eucharistic miracles wasn't just a personal project. It was a mission. Carlo believed that these miracles, proof of Christ's real presence in the Eucharist, could reignite faith in those who had grown indifferent or doubtful. Through meticulous research, he created an online archive filled with stories, images, and details about these miracles, all laid out with precision and care. Imagine for a moment a young teenager sitting at his desk, surrounded by books and notes, typing away late into the night, his fingers flying across the keyboard, fueled not by ambition or fame, but by love, a love for God and a deep desire to share that love with the world. But Carlo didn't stop there. He also believed in the importance of reaching people where they were. And in today's world, where are most of us? Online. Carlo's approach challenges us to rethink how we use technology in our own lives. Is our time on the internet spent mindlessly scrolling, or are we using it to deepen our relationship with God and inspire others? Are we sharing uplifting content, engaging in meaningful conversations, and spreading the gospel in creative ways? The beauty of Carlo's story is that it shows us how even the simplest tools, a computer, a website, can become instruments of evangelization. It's not about being an expert programmer or having a huge platform. It's about using what we have, where we are, to make Christ known. Think about it. What if the next post you share, the next video you create, or even the next comment you leave could plant a seed of faith in someone's heart? Carlo reminds us that the digital world isn't just a place of distraction. It's a mission field. Today, we have even more tools at our disposal than Carlo did: social media, podcasts, blogs, and countless other platforms. And yet, the call remains the same: to bring the light of Christ into every corner of the world, even the digital one. Carlo's life shows us that technology isn't something to fear or reject, but something to sanctify. It's a way to spread the truth, to build community, and to invite others to encounter the living God. Blessed Carlo Acutis showed us that faith and technology can go hand in hand. His life reminds us that when we use the tools in our hands, like our phones, our computers, and even social media, for God's glory, they can become instruments of evangelization and transformation. Carlo faced challenges, including spiritual battles, but he never let those obstacles stop him. He trusted in God, used his gifts, and left a legacy that continues to inspire us today. And now, the question is for you. How can you use the tools God has given you to spread His love and truth? Your mission starts right where you are. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content that deepens your faith and encourages your spiritual journey. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you. See you in our next video.